everybody. Welcome. This is Brian Hogue. Welcome to the Chiller Night Live. Tonight we are creeping ever so closer to Halloween. So I got my trusty jack-o'-lantern here. Lasercorn says first. Yes, Laser's a first tonight to comment. Well, welcome, Laser. Thanks for joining us. Who shall be second? Alright, that we shall see. But, yeah, we're getting closer to that special time of the year. The most wonderful time of the year coming up. What are we? We are already halfway through the month of October. Isn't that crazy? I'll tell you what. This month, Renee says, Halo, Brian Hogue, how the heck are you? Buckle up. Put on your tinfoil aluminum hats, because sci-fi horror fantasy movie host is on live. Planet Orange Purple Ring. And all kinds of crazy things she has after that. I mean, picture-wise. So, hey, Renee, thanks for joining us. Stephanie says, hey, y'all. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for joining us. Yes, and let's see. Paul, hey, Paul, thanks for joining us. Hey there, my brother. How are you and Ava? We are doing very well, thank you very much. What's this? Late ping at 5:01? Not sure what that is. Gee, thanks a lot. Let's see. Hey there, Chiller family, Paul says. Well, welcome one and all to the Chiller Night Live pre-show, where from 8 p.m. Eastern Time until 9 p.m. we'll talk about all things horror, science fiction, paranormal. Basically, you pick the topic and we'll make a show out of it. But in the meantime, what I will be doing is putting up the schedule for Chiller Night Theater, which plays on Stream TV every Saturday night. You know, we've been playing on Stream TV every Saturday night, beginning in October of 2017. The show's been going on longer than that, but we've been airing on Stream TV every week, pretty much, and unless there was a technical difficulty or special event. But we've been with Stream TV ever since October of 2017. So I want to thank them for streaming Chiller Night Theater all these years. And what will we be seeing this Saturday night? Well, let me tell you. You guys ready? Are you ready for the schedule? I should get a drum roll here. All right. And the schedule is for this Saturday. Okay, there goes my drum roll, but I think it did. Or is it still going on? Get out of there. Jeez. All right. All right, here we go. Saturday, October 21st on Stream TV, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the Chiller Night pre-show, which is what you are watching right now. 9 p.m., the feature movie of the week is Terror Creatures from the Grave. And at 10:55, again, we play these back-to-back, so if you don't want to wait in between movies, you won't have to. Watching Chiller Night Theater, we play 4 movies every Saturday night. 10:55, Attack of the Giant Leeches. Then at 12:20, the movie is Snow Beast, followed up by Silent Night, Bloody Night at 2 a.m. For you night owls, you can watch that at streammedia.tv, streammedia.tv. All right, we'll be putting that up periodically throughout the show. All right, what do we got here? Stephanie says, this week is my vacation week, so I'm off work. Awesome, very awesome. Hope you're enjoying and relaxing, taking some time to just recharge a little bit, hopefully. John says, it's Tuesday night, and it's time again for a weekly meeting. It's time again for the Chiller Night Live. This is Crozak the Grand, and now here's Brian Hogue. Yes, thank you, Crozak the Grand. It is that time, that the best hour of the week, I'll tell you. So thanks for joining us. Paul says, what kind of monster is Dr. Sado Sarachit, played by Vincent Price, VP Vincent Price. I don't know. Is that we're talking about the abominable Dr. Fives? Is that what you're referring to? I'm not sure, monster-wise, what he is. He's unless he's like I haven't seen those movies since, I'll be honest, since I was a kid, so I don't remember if he was just a guy who was like a mystic or something who could come back to life. I don't really remember, to be honest with you. I remember I enjoyed watching the movies. There was more than one. But if anybody knows, do tell, do share. Renee says Frankenstein. Haha! So Bonehead says, hey, hello, greetings to Brian Hogan, the Chillin' Night crew. Hey, 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 how are yins doing? We are doing fine. I hope you are as well. SBC says, hello, PBR. Oh, PBR is here with us. PBR Street Gang. Oh, that's right. He's giving me the wave. All right, PBR, thanks for joining us. As well as you, Bonehead. Let's see. Renee says Jack-o'-lantern. Yeah! Hey! We don't have a whole lot of time before Halloween, folks. I'll tell you what. And speaking of that, Paul says Dr. Fives. Yes, yes. Dr. Fives. Paul says, I'm still on drugs. Yes, well, you just get better. You continue to recover from your surgery, and yeah. Renee says, how's the zombie apocalypse escape room experience? Busy, overwhelmed. Well, I'll tell you what, we haven't had anybody make it through yet in October, so I have a group going through tomorrow night, so maybe we'll see how they do, and but it's going pretty well. As well as Jack Shadow's House of Terror. I'll be talking about all of that stuff, all of the stuff that I have going on under the mantle of Chiller Night, which includes Chiller Night Theater. And I do have a special announcement because, and I and Jack Shadow are both working very, very hard to try to bring you a Halloween-themed new episode of Chiller Night Theater. As I told you back when Jack retired, and he kind of laid a hint to that as well, that he would be back occasionally. And this seems to fit the bill. Halloween, kind of a big deal. So, I'd like to get a new episode out. Not this week, of course, because I put up the schedule for the 21st, but for the 28th. Saturday the 28th is the last Saturday before Halloween, and maybe we'll play it again on Halloween night, who knows. But we will be seeing Jack Shadow again. For those of you who aren't going through the House of Terror, don't live close enough, you'll get to see Jack Shadow again this month for next week. Let's see. Paul says, thank you, Bone. Could never figure that out. Oh, Bonehead had an answer? Ah, here we go. Bonehead says, Dr. Fives was a disfigured person car accident, and Mr. Sardonicus was a disfigured due to shock, seeing his father's corpse. Ah. All right. Yes, Paul says, thank you, Bone. Could never figure that out. Awesome. Renee says, Jack Shadow. Jack Shadow! Buck says, if you have not tried AI art generator to make your own monsters, you should. It's fun, and most are free. Ah, that's a neat idea. Thanks for joining us, Buck. AI, I wonder if they'd be able to conjure something up for Jack Shadow. I'm sure they could, but I haven't tried that. I've been just busy generating my own stuff here lately. Actually, since May, working almost every single day without fail, trying to get the House of Terror up and running, which it is. It's running quite well. I know for several hours Saturday night, we didn't even get a break in between groups. We were non-stop. So the haunted house is going very well. John says, on a sad note, The Entertainment World Lost stars Mark Goddard, Lost in Space. I didn't see that. Piper Laurie, Carrie, Twin Peaks, and Laura Parker, Dark Shadows, Original Witch, Angelica Bouchard, if I'm saying that right. Yeah, but I have seen, I know with Mark Goddard and Laura Parker, I know I've seen those on Facebook as I'm scrolling through. I saw that those two had passed away. And Piper Laurie, Carrie, and Twin Peaks also passed away. Who else? Phyllis Coates. She just passed away just a few days ago. Some of you may not be familiar with that name, but she played in... being the superhero fan growing up, she was the first Lois Lane in The Adventures of Superman with George Reeves, and she also, played in an episode of The Lone Ranger. I believe that one was with Clayton Moore, not John Hart. So she's in her maybe 97 or something like that. She lived a very long, full life. That's for sure. Let's see. SBC says, I'm ready. Most of my Halloween decorations are finally up. Awesome. I find that I don't really decorate my home that much, believe it or not, because I'm so preoccupied with the haunted house that when I'm doing a haunted house, I really don't pay too much attention to the house, decoration-wise. So, unfortunately, I don't appear all that festive, but for those who know me, all my heart and soul gets poured into the haunt. So, but that's cool. PBR says, we love Jack. All right. Yes. Jack Shadow. Let's see. Bonus says, Brian, I'm excited because there's 2 new Godzilla movies coming out. Toho's Godzilla -1, and I heard that Godzilla vs. Kong Part 2 is coming out before my birthday in February. Oh, is that right? Now I heard talk of, well, it's been mentioned here. This is where I actually hear a lot of stuff here with you guys doing this show, because I don't get a lot of time to actually watch too much TV. The only show that I do make it a point to watch every Sunday is the Walking Dead when it was on, but now I'm watching the spin-off series Fear the Walking Dead. I haven't really stuck with that one. Just I couldn't get into the characters as much. But Dead City, I enjoyed that one with Negan and Maggie, and then Daryl Dixon. I just finished up the season Sunday night with that one. I enjoyed that one. So, but yeah, I had heard about Godzilla, but I didn't know about Godzilla vs. Kong Part 2. Paul says, premiere for Jack Shadow returns Manos. You want to see Manos again? When is the last time we played Manos? I suspect it was... Oh, it has been within 6 months. Didn't we play that in August? I'm pretty sure we did. So we'll give a little bit of buffer, and then we'll play Manos again one of these days. SBC says, I like Godzilla, especially the old ones. I still, my favorite's probably the original. I mean, I like a lot of Godzilla movies, but I just kind of have a special spot for that, for the original one. PBR says, didn't Mrs. Summers from Three's Company pass away recently? Oh yeah, Suzanne Summers, that's right. What was it, maybe 2 days ago or so? She did pass away at, 76 years old. So, yeah, that's right. I saw a lot of posts about that. Stephanie says, cool Frankenstein t-shirt. Thank you. Thank you very much. One of my favorites. One of my favorite monsters, one of my favorite movie monsters is the Frankenstein monster. One of my favorite Halloween monsters is a werewolf, the Wolfman. So, I just love that stuff. John says, here we go, fun facts. Dr. Phibes' full name, Dr. Anton Phibes, was a multi-talented scientist, religious scholar, academic scholar, and master musicologist. Is that right? Very a lot of information packed there in that one fun fact. I like that. Thank you, John. Blaze Corn says, speaking of Godzilla, there is a new trailer out for Monarch on Apple. Oh, interesting. PBR says, do you do Christmas decorations, Brian? Yes, I do. I love Christmas. I'm a big holidays guy. I love Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and obviously obviously I love Halloween. But I will say a lot of this comes from my childhood. I had such a wonderful childhood, and just so many things from my childhood, positive way resonate into my current adulthood. And I think I've done a pretty good job, like kind of passing certain traditions and decorating and putting up a full tree every year. Even though the kids, before they moved out, now they're both moved out, but even before that, the grown kids, I was still putting up a full tree and, doing my best to decorate and playing the Christmas music. So yeah, oh yeah, I get into Christmas quite a bit. Let's see, Renee says, we love Brian, Shadow, Jack Hogue, Chiller Night. Yeah, oh, thank you, Renee. Brian Shadow. I like that. Brian Shadow. Jack Hogue. But it says Godzilla -1 is releasing before Christmas. I think either the first week of November or December. Ah, cool. Well, that's coming right up. Be here before we know it. SBC says, how about a more cheerful topic than people who have died? Right. Yeah. True. Real people, right? Renee says, stop it with the damn Manos. Yeah, Paul. Paul's got issues with Manos and the Hands of Fate. Loves that movie. Doc says, how is your spooky season going? It's going fantastic. It's a busy month. It's very busy. It wears me out. I told Ava, I said after October, after Halloween night, I'm going to sleep during November. Just wake me up for Thanksgiving. Well, and even then, I'm sure I'll have quite a bit of bookings for the escape room. Yeah, where are we at? Jack Shadow in all this splendor and glory, standing there at the entryway of Jack Shadow's House of Terror. Look at that. Yeah, I want to do I'll kind of touch on all that stuff throughout the show periodically. But yeah, I'm just having a really good. Now I got to find the camera again. Here we go. October, between the House of Terror haunted house and the zombie outbreak escape room. I wanted to get my witching hour escape room ready, but here's the thing. You remember almost a year ago, it was last November, I had my rotary cuff surgery on my shoulder, so it was quite a while before I could begin building, or quickly building anyway. So I started working on the witching hour, and then I got into the month of May. All right, 5 months into the year, I'm like, okay, now if I don't start the haunted house, because I've done, in fact, this was my 12th haunted house, and so I knew if I didn't start like now, like put the witching hour on the back burner, on the back cauldron, and start on the House of Terror, and it's a good thing I did, because I worked and worked and worked all the way up. I took the week of the haunted house off from my regular job just so I could work, and we worked. Ava and my one stepson Brenton, he and I and Ava, we worked until 1:30 in the morning several nights, And the night before we opened, it was Thursday night into Friday morning. We were there till almost, if not, maybe 3:30 in the morning. We left there. And then went back on Friday and worked all the way up until literally 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we had people standing in line, and I had to go, at that time, go change into the Jack Shadow costume. So I had 11 minutes. I did it in 11 minutes. I was like Clark Kent in the telephone booth, you know, kind of quick about it. So, but yeah, it's going really well. I say all that because I get really wore out in October. As good as it is to me, as much as I enjoy it, it does wear me out. You know, a little busy. Let's see. I know that I am behind quite a bit. John says, question, has Jack ever done a show in 3D? No? I don't even know how to do that. No. I don't know. Could he do a show in 3D? That'd be kind of cool. James says, good evening, Brian. The old school Godzilla are the best. Rubber costumes and all. Oh, yeah. Yes. Renee says, rest in peace. Chrissy. Yeah. Suzanne Summer. Chrissy Snow. Wasn't that her name on Three's Company? Paul says, I'm sorry, Brian, about Manos. I have a good place in my head for him and Nurse Torgo and the drugs. Ah, yes, you do. Renee says, Ultraman! I loved Ultraman and Hayata and his beta capsule, which turned him into the oversized hero. And Godzilla's friend Jet Jaguar was my favorite. Jet Jaguar, PBR says. Yes. Let me get... Renee says Super Inframan. Cicada 01. I don't know what that last part was, but I remember the Super Inframan. When I went to see Inframan, I went to see it when it first came out at the theater. We went to a drive-in theater, and that was one of the movies. We were seeing a double feature that night. I don't remember what the second movie was, but I do remember Inframan. It was just called Inframan when we saw it on the. So I've always known it all these years as I just always remembered it as Inframan, and then I see it more and more as Super Inframan. I just watched that probably about. I think the last time I saw that was about 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. I found it on one of those channels on Roku. Bonus says, I agree, Renee. I concur with your assessment of the Manos movie. Yeah. How about them big words I just used? It was pretty good there, Bonehead. Someone might think I'm actually educated. PBR says, anybody dressing up for Halloween? I'm going as the ape Roman from Robot Monster. Yes, Roman. Oh, man, hey, you got to send this. That's a good... I guess I can take the witching hour. That's actually, I just thought of this. If anybody has any photographs of their costumes this year, or even from years prior, if you want to send them in and email them to me or send them to me through Messenger or something like that. Maybe I'll put them up next Tuesday for the pre-show. I think that would be a lot of fun. So send me those pictures. Or if you're dressing up on the 28th or after next Tuesday, send them in. We'll do a special and we'll show pictures. SBC says, how about a little conspiracy theory? The Hamas attack on Israel. I don't think they could have prepared all of this without the Israeli Secret Service noticing something. Well, there is talk, well, that they did know well in advance, so who knows what is the truth? It's hard to tell anymore. It really is. To listen to anything you hear anymore at face value. Now, fortunately, what you're hearing here on this show a lot of times is face value. So, no, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know about that stuff. But it does get you wondering. I know I can say this. In the past 3 years, I haven't taken anything at face value that I hear on the mainstream media at all. let's see. A lot of comments, a lot of comments. I'm going to scoot ahead here, try to catch up, so I'm not too far behind. Let's see. Let's see. SPC says, I have a 3D camera, but I haven't had time to try it out yet. A 3D camera, that would be cool to see that. Paul says, love the poster, Brian. Ah, thank you. Let's see. Bonus says, my favorites are Gojira and Godzilla, Mr. Sun, KOTM 1956, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah 1991. Ah, so you got it. You know your Godzilla movies. I don't. I have such a plethora of Godzilla movies out there. I have a hard time keeping track of which is which. But yeah, I do enjoy watching that stuff. Or I did mostly as a kid. I guess I don't watch Godzilla as much anymore, but I do try to check out. Like the last one I saw was the Kong versus Godzilla, or maybe that was vice versa in the title. But PBR says, I will send you a picture of my costume. I've entered in a costume contest. Aha! Cool! Very cool. Stephanie says, today I bought a little pumpkin to put on my dad's grave. Ah, that's cool. Did he enjoy Halloween? My my parents always made such a big deal about the holidays, and it was so cool. I mean, and I do too now. In well into my adult years, I've always tried to make a big deal out of the holidays, and I just what's this? I'm seeing Miss Renee. I'm sorry to hear you suffer from depression. If you're here for the pre-show, maybe we can all make you feel better and give you strength for the week. Oh, okay. I missed a comment earlier about that, but yeah, hopefully you can come here, and that's why, you know, a lot of times we leave the serious stuff on the back burner, because you can get that anytime you want. So we try to keep it pretty lighthearted and just kind of talk about our big fun, big dumb fun stuff, or I'm getting tongue-tied, monsters and stuff like that. But I hope you guys are having a good time. I think you are. It does show. Buck says, you said you like werewolves. I will send you some pics I generated. Ah, cool. Okay. SBC says, I'll send you an email with my Halloween decorations and costume. Ah, okay. Now, if you guys send them, now do me just an extra step and let me know if I can share them on the show. I always like to check first. You know, if people send me stuff, I like to. And speaking of stuff being sent, there's actually going to be some fan art that Jack is going to be showing on the next episode of Chiller Night Theater, the one that will be playing on the 28th, as well as Patty's Jack Shadow, custom-made Jack Shadow figure that she had sent me. So I have it sitting back here because I have my jack-o'-lantern sitting here tonight. Let's see. Bonus says, same for you, Laser. We're all in this mess we call life together, and we need to be there for each other. I remember how everyone cared about me when I was going through that difficult time. Oh, absolutely. Buck says, please hit the like button, folks. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Buck, for that. I appreciate that. I know I'm missing comments. I'm trying not to get too far behind, because sometimes I've caught myself talking several minutes behind the comments, and I'm trying to keep up to them as best as I can. And it is 8:30. This is just going too quick, folks. Let me put up the schedule again for this coming Saturday's Chiller Night Theater schedule. Now, if you're watching this Saturday night on Stream TV, and you're Stream TV, and you're wondering hey, how can I be involved here and interact with everybody and watch us as it's streaming live? We stream live every Tuesday, the Tuesday prior to that Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time online on either the Chiller Night YouTube channel or these channels right here on the other side of the Jack-o'-lantern, Chiller Night Theater, Chiller Night Escape Experience, or the Jack Shadow House of Terror Facebook pages. Or if you're friends with me, Brian Hogue, you can also watch it live on my page as well. Renee says, I usually go to the church first, was my routine when my father was alive, then to the cemetery, but since he died 5 years ago, I stopped going to church and serving the Eucharist and blood of Christ wine. Well, everyone's got their methods of coping with those things, so you never know. You might decide at some point that you might want to go back and do that, or you might not. But it's I don't know. That is a tough thing because it's not an all. It's not a one size fits all to everybody. I mean, everybody does cope with the troubled times and grief in their own way, depression. Stephanie says, my dad actually loves all holidays, including Halloween. Let's see. Renee says, extraterrestrials, alien, ghosts, and UFOs. Hey, that sounds like a lot of topics that we talk about here on the show. And Chiller Chat. If I ever bring back Chiller Chat, we'll be talking a lot about that stuff. SBC says, I used to only have the Godzilla movie on VHS where they fight the giant beetles on the ship at the beginning. And I don't know which one that is, but it's, Bonus says, please let me pass along my sympathies and condolences to Miss Stephanie, Miss Renee, and anyone in the Chiller Night crew for their losses of loved ones. That's very, very nice of you, Bonehead. PBR says, has anybody seen Robot Monster recently? Well, if you haven't, that's one we could play. It'd have to be in November. Here's my old paper tablet. I have all this stuff on the computer, but I do like to look at it right here because I get to see pretty quickly. We played Robot Monster. It looks like the last time I played it was July 30th of 2022. Is that right? We haven't even played it this year? Well, we'll play it in November. So there. That's what we can do. Play it in November. So, Robot Monster. Lasercorn says, as Carl Sagan said, to live on in memory is to never die. John says, question, am I the only one can't find bat props to display? Oh, really? Spirit's Halloween store doesn't seem to carry them. In fact, they seem to be missing in stores altogether. Is that right? I guess I haven't noticed that. Tom says, hi, Bone. Hey, Tom! Tom Paisley is with us, folks. Tom, thanks for joining us. Hello, Tom. We should make that like a norm thing on Cheers. Hello, Mom. Paul says, good night, my family. Oh, okay. Well, good night, Paul. Looks like I'm 2 minutes behind at this point, so I'll try to catch up a little bit. But first, I was going to put that schedule up, wasn't I? So let me do that. This Saturday, October 21st on Stream TV at 8 p.m. is a Chiller Night pre-show. That's what you're watching now. 9 p.m., Terror Creatures from the Grave. And then at 10:55, Attack of the Giant Leeches. 12:20, the movie is Snow Beast. And then at 2 a.m., the movie is Silent Night, Bloody Night. Now, take note of the times. If you're new here and you're just joining us, those movies are back to back. There might be 1 or 2 minutes in between, but basically those are back to back. on Stream TV. Starting, The Frightening Fun begins at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the pre-show. And this particular Saturday, it's going to end pretty late because I know Silent Night, Bloody Night, it's kind of a lengthy movie. It's, what, about maybe the episode might be about an hour and 50 minutes. So yeah, very, very long-running Saturday night coming up. Hope you get a chance to check that out on streammedia.tv. So check it out if you get a chance. No, I'm not Tom, but getting to enjoy this pre-show does the trick, Bonehead says. Oh, let's see, I'm missing some of the comments prior to that. PBR says, thanks, Brian, that's very kind of you. Oh, you're very welcome. Trying to catch up a little bit. Bonin says, you're fine, Miss Renee. We're all here for you, and maybe it's comforting to know that others care. Yeah, and it's something I do like. I do like the fact that we're all meeting here from all over the place, and it's for an hour a week. For now, maybe that will develop into something else down the road, but it is kind of nice. You know, you feel like you know each other. Tom says, Brian, do you ever do the Jack Shadow treatment to Dracula's Dog, 1977? No, I've never even heard of Dracula's Dog in 1977. There's a movie, Dracula's Dog. I gotta say, I'll be the first to admit I've never heard of this. No. You know, I wish Facebook, even though I a lot of times wasn't able to participate, but it would be cool if they remember they were having the watch parties, you know, several years ago, and those were kind of fun. So we could watch movies that were, you know, I'm sure that's not in public domain because I've never seen it in the list. You know, sometimes you know the frequent flyers, you know, the frequent features, I guess I should say, but I've never heard of that one. Renee says, Zombie Apocalypse Escape Room Experience commercial. All right, you got it coming up.
Chiller Night Escape Experience presents Zombie Outbreak Escape Room. You and your team of scientists are sent to inspect a top-secret laboratory in a hidden military bunker. Sinister experiments have resulted in reanimating the dead. The facility is now swarming with the living dead, and you have 1 hour to escape or be overrun by zombies. Can you survive a zombie outbreak? Book your escape room appointment to find out. Book online at chillernight.com or call 814-209-8214. Gift certificates available at the store counter.
All right. Thank you for that, Renee. Lazy Quarter says, and remote viewers among us tonight. Okay, I am not. So you never know. And if there are, maybe eventually, if and when I start Chiller Chat back up, it'd be interesting to talk to a remote viewer. But it says, Tom, I just watched a documentary last night that mentioned Dracula's Dog that Reggie Nadler, Nolder, Salem's Lot TV miniseries was in. Really? Where are you guys? You guys are all... So I apparently am the only one who's not heard of Dracula's Dog. Renee says, awesome live pre-show. Thank you, Brian. I feel better. Oh, that's very cool. I'm glad to hear that, Renee. Richard says, best Halloween band. Best Halloween band. Halloween band. I'm going to probably go... You know why I instantly thought of Kiss? Just because when I was a kid, I know my cousin had the Halloween costumes, and I remember watching this live when it was on, and what was it, maybe 74, 75, the Paul Lynde Halloween special, and he had the group Kiss on there, and I don't know, so I guess immediately that's where my mind went when you said Halloween band. But what are I don't know, anybody have a favorite Halloween or best Halloween band? Renee says, Dracula versus dog is like that Godzilla versus Bambi. Yeah, if he actually fought a dog, sure. PBR says, I look forward to your show every week. I talk about it to my wife all the time. She just nods and says, yeah, yeah, as I ramble on about the chat. Oh, is that right? Ah, well, maybe one of these days you'll get her to participate, you know. Maybe she'll catch on and enjoy it as well. But that's cool. I appreciate that. Paul says, this is the best meds we have to use for the week. Love you and Ava. Everyone feel good, everyone. All right. Well, thank you, Paul. Bonin says, Laser, I qualify as a remote, in quotations, viewer because I'm sitting on the table watching the phone. I'm a skull, and it's that time of the year that I'm a decoration. I see. Renee says, oh, commercial, neato. Yeah, that was a neat one. And again, that's a really cool voice that Tom picked out there for it. With the AI generated voice or something. That was pretty cool. Tom says, yeah, Boney also played in Dorian in Star Trek, the original series. There's connections to Dracula's dog there. Renee says MK Ultra. Yeah, that's a real thing. Renee says, oh yeah, Kiss. Renee says Misfits. Okay, yeah. Cool Pumpkin Brian. Patty says, yeah, thank you, Patty. And I said before, I'm not sure if you were on here, but Jack, the custom Jack that you had sent, he's sitting back here so that I can have the jack-o'-lantern up in the forefront of the desk tonight, but probably next week as well. But thank you. Renee says Black Sabbath. Kind of get that Halloween vibe. Best Halloween band, Fastaway, plus a real good movie, PBR says. Patty says, Paul Lynde Halloween special is on YouTube. Is it? Now, I've never looked that up. The whole thing is on YouTube. That's pretty cool. That'd be kind of neat to watch it again. And if I remember right, I have not seen this since, but I remember Kiss on there. For some reason, I could be really wrong about this. I thought there might have been Donnie and Marie Osmond. I don't know where I'm getting that. And the woman who played the witch off The Wizard of Oz. And I don't know if these are just memories that are... I mean, I saw it one time back when it broadcast back in the 70s. So some of that stuff, those other guests might not be accurate. But I do remember specifically watching Kiss perform on that special. SBC says, Dracula dog, LOL. There's a lot of bizarre Dracula films. I have Bavarian Dracula comedy film for adults on VHS somewhere. Let's see. Renee says, saw him in concert. Love Pete Way and Fast Eddie Clark, she says, saw him in concert. Oh, okay. All right. Ronnie James Dio, Renee says. SBC says, wasn't there even a band called Halloween? That sounds real familiar. Yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. A band called Halloween. Something sounds right about that. Could that have been an 80s thing? It sounds like an 80s thing. I want to say it is. I hope it is. Stephanie says, hey, what's everybody's favorite Universal Monster classic movies? I get asked that quite a bit, and I love seeing some of the other responses to this, because to me, I'm probably, that is a tough one for me to answer. I do say Frankenstein, or probably, to narrow it down, maybe The Bride of Frankenstein. But wow, it's hard to put that even, Dracula. I love Dracula, not because I think it's a cinematic masterpiece necessarily, but just because of the that particular movie. I think the span is version is actually a better made movie. Not that I speak Spanish, but um, um, I'd say Dracula, the Wolfman. Those are two that I love. I love watching those just as much as the Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. So I'm gonna have to put those four. Those are my fantastic, frightening four choices for Universal Monster Classics. Even above The Mummy, above Creature from the Black Lagoon. I love those movies, but those are my top four, I'd have to say. Oh, the castle has torches. Nice, Renee says. Yeah, they've been up there. Those have been there since the castle's been sitting back there. But I'm glad you noticed that tonight. A lot of people might not notice that, or maybe you've noticed that before and you're just not saying it. And also up in the top of the castle is Jack Shadow. I don't know how many people have noticed that. I don't know how many of you sharp-eyed viewers see him actually up there moving around. It's not quite the scale. I'm sure he'd be smaller than that, but yeah. I've tried to put some things back there to make it interesting. The Pittsburgh Ghoul Order says, "Are you coming to Living Dead Weekend, Brian?" Oh, well, thank you for joining us tonight. I will not be doing that at all, just because it'd be neat to go, but I am so bogged down with my own events with the haunted house and escape room. This month is just, it's a tough month. Remember, I said a while ago, because I didn't think it was ever going to be this tight of into my scheduling, that, oh yeah, Jack will be back, for this October to do a special episode. And I'm like today, I picked the movie and I started, trying to come up with some stuff. I'm like, wow, this has to be done next week, on top of everything else I'm doing. So if for some reason it doesn't work out, just know that I'm giving it my all. But I'm saying that because October, the ones where I do the haunted houses, the ones where I have to build a haunted house and actually to do all this, I'm so swamped. I really am. So, but that would be a neat thing to go to. Wish I could. Patty says, I don't have a favorite band, but favorite Halloween songs. Boingo Boingo's Dead Man's Party. Strange Things Happen. Monster Mash. Spooky in the Hall of the Mountain King, etc. But it says, Renee, if Brian's castle has torches, it's on fire. There goes Jack's place. Oh, it better not. There goes his the dark domain, the property, I guess, if you want to call it that, would be okay. But his house of terror might not be in such good shape. Let me. Oh, Buck says, I like the Abbott and Costello ones. Oh, okay. With the Universal? Okay. Meet Frankenstein. I was talking to Paul. Paul had called me, and this had come up about Bela Lugosi, playing Dracula again, reprising his role in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, and of course Glenn Strange playing the monster in that movie. But I remember a book back in the 90s when Universal was kind of exploding in popularity again. And, the VHS tapes were coming out, and then the postal stamps came out. I remember having those, and I regret not buying an extra, book of it or sheet of stamps. But I also remember buying a book. It was a little novel about the continuing stories of the Universal Monsters. And they actually continued from... They picked up after the Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. So they're like putting that basically in the official canon, the official storyline, which I found to be a strange choice. That's what reminded me of when Buck said that he liked the Abbott and Costello ones. So I'll try to scroll down here, and I'm sorry if I'm missing any of your comments, but I kind of have to scroll down or I'll be falling very, very far behind. Oops, I forgot about the creature from Black Lagoon. Can't forget him, Bonehead says. Yes. Tom says, sharp eyes? You'd have to be eagle-eyed to see him up there in the balcony. Well, maybe if we're watching on a big enough screen, you could see him. Patty says, Bella only played Dracula twice in Dracula and Abbott and Costello. Yeah, the actual Dracula character, yeah. Yeah, Dracula and Abbott and Costello. He's played a vampire before, but not Dracula. Not specifically Dracula. Yeah, you're right. Bonin says, I think I need, at least on film anyways. Bonin says, I need a telescope to see that, Brian. I like to put little things like that in there, you know. PBR says, just saw the ghost in the castle. Let's see. PBR says, wasn't Lugosi in Plan 9 from Outer Space? He was. Yeah, but he wasn't, no, it says as Dracula. No, he wasn't as Dracula. However, yeah, he was wearing because he was supposed to have been buried, the old man. He was just titled, I think, as the old man. The old man, the heartbroken old man. He died, he was buried, and he resurrected from the aliens, and then he just kind of, for some reason, had a cape also. And, but he wasn't Dracula in that movie. But he had the appearance of. Patty says, yes, Lugosi was in Plan 9 until he died. Yeah, and then they get the guy's like dentist or something, chiropractor, dentist, or whatever, to fill in for him. Renee says, it's okay if you miss some comments. It's been an awesome live show. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, and I guess it's somewhat inevitable that I miss some of these, as I'm trying not to be, I mean, I could just read them, but I try not to fall too far behind, because I found myself a good maybe 4 or 5 minutes behind some of the comments. So I'm sure as a viewer that probably takes a little bit of the fun away if I'm that far behind. Bonin says, Miss Renee, that little blue emoji looks like he just farted and he's holding his breath to not breathe it in, don't it? Or am I just that warped? I guess to our viewers they wouldn't be able to see that, but in fact I don't see it. But I probably have to scroll really far back to see that one. Oh, Tom says, as I'm scrolling back to see the little face that he's talking about, hands down it's Bride of Frankenstein, Tom says. I agree. I just love that movie. It just has everything that I love about those old horror movies right there. Especially the monster of the movie, the villain, Dr. Pretorius. I think that is such a great character. I say he is the monster. He is the one who is the manipulative and villainous. He's the one with the evil mind. I mean, not the brute monster created by the Dr. Frankenstein, but Dr. Pretorius. He's the true monster in that movie. All right, now I'll catch up. Bonus says, sorry, Miss Renee. Looks like he just ripped a blockbuster and he's taking off. Ah, a little flatulence issue there with some emoji somewhere, I guess. Patty says, falling behind in a conversation with as many people as are here is normal, even if we were all face to face. Ah, that's true. That's a good way of looking at it. I appreciate that. I appreciate your understanding. John says, you have been entertained tonight by viewing Chiller Night Live with Brian Hogue. This is Crozak the Grand reminding you to good people. Only 14 days left until Halloween. Until next week, stay chilled, keep thrilled. Yes, 14 days. Can you believe that? PBR says, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Jack Shadow as president. Yeah. I think he would love that. he wouldn't care what they said about him. He would just, I think he would love that even more. Let's see. Pittsburgh Gold Order says, I'd have to go with Dracula as my favorite Universal villain. Although I do enjoy them all. Yeah, I totally get that, because it's so tough to pick. I've loved those monsters, all of them, since I was just a little kid. I mean, the Creature, the Mummy, Dracula. I mean, all of them I've just loved. You know, I can't say I was the biggest fan of the Invisible Man as a kid, because to me, not that I don't like the movie, I do like the movie, but as a kid, you know, when I like the monsters, the Frankenstein, Dracula, and all that. But to me, he was just he was a crazy scientist who went mad with the Invisible Serum. But for the most part, I love all those movies. Renee says, I am not well too, but I must get it together and persevere. Life is tough. Ah, well, yes. You don't have to go through it alone, though. So, contact anyone here. I'm sure anybody would be happy to chat with you if you're feeling a little down. And you don't have to wait till Tuesdays. There's a lot of people out here, a lot of good people that we have in our viewership here. Let's see. I'm just trying to quickly. Renee says, President Jack Shadow, Brian Hogue. Patty says, if Lex Luthor can be president, so can Jack Shadow. Lex Luthor? What? Oh, that's right. Lex Luthor in the comic books, wasn't he president? That's right. I didn't read it, but I do recall seeing that at one point. PBR says, thanks again for putting Robot Monster on your movie list. Oh, you got it. Yeah. Remind me. We will play that in November. Renee says, Black Lagoon. We got a couple minutes left. Black Lagoon. I thought I was going to be scared at 12 years old, but it wasn't scary. I refused to be scared as a little kid. Yeah. Pittsburgh Ghoul Order says, if we're on the topic of Universal Monsters, we can't forget King Kong. Nope. I was just, in fact, that had come up in the dialogue that Jack Shadow will be talking about next week, that movie, King Kong, from 1933, of course. So, yes, excellent movie. SBC says, being able to become invisible would have its advantages. Going to the cinema for free. One of the many things you could do if you had that power of invisibility. Kevin says, good evening. Good evening, Kevin. Thanks for joining us. Although we have actually about 40 seconds left, but thank you. And once the show is no longer live, go back and check it out. It'll be on YouTube and Facebook. Bonin says, I just want to say thanks to the whole Chiller Night crew, family, and Brian and his family for making this show the most enjoyable hour of the week. Hopefully, maybe one day we could get a 2-hour pre-show. You never know. And speaking of that, I'm going to put up this. Thank you very much, by the way. October 21st, this Saturday. The feature movie is Terror Creatures from the Grave. At 10:55, Attack of the Giant Leeches. At 12:20, the movie is Snow Beast. And at 2 a.m., Silent Night. Bloody Night. So there you have it. There you have it. And thank you for all of the, yeah, Tom says King Kong wasn't Universal though, it was RKO. Yeah, and that's actually the movie that basically saved RKO in 1933, because the RKO was, you know, 1 foot out the door. So, but thank you everybody. But I always kind of group it in with all the classic monsters. I guess the classic monsters is kind of what I think about. But thank you everybody for joining me and each other tonight. So have a good night. Have a good chiller night. And we'll see you next week.